city like, hey, yeah, perfect, yeah. Sipping on some I might specify.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another picks and predictions video. Another picks and predictions live stream. UFC Mexico. That's right, UFC Fight Night. Moreno versus Royval 2, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the channel, smash that like button and subscribe. We host these every single Thursday as we go through our picks, starting with the early prelims all the way to the main event. And then we have a little fun in the final segment of the show here as I give you my degenerate and safe parlay of the week. If you want to go full degenerate, you can parlay them both together for the degenerate, safe degenerate. I don't know what we want to call it yet. That is brought to you by our friend Vulcan in the live chat. We will continue to take your guys' comments throughout the show as well. If a lot of them come in at once, then we might just take them in chunks. I'll go through a few of the fights. I'll give my picks, predictions, whatnot, and then we'll get to your comments. But we'll start with your comments here, then we'll get right into the first fight. What's up, Hernan? Good to see you. Hockey from home on 3 accounts here. What's up, Hockey from home? It's good to see you. I love you want to make the poll interesting. That is right. Throughout this live stream as well, we will have a poll question. So if you're watching live, don't forget to vote in that. If you can't stick around for the whole show, which we go just over an hour usually, I will post timestamps as well. Huge weekend of mixed martial arts, guys. And again, I will be posting my Ryzen predictions, which again, I got my whole Ryzen predictions here as well. I filmed that video. We're not gonna do a live stream for that one. I filmed that one already, so I'm gonna edit that after this and get that up late tonight, first thing tomorrow, so you guys can be ready for that. What's up, Vulcan? Good to see you. By the way, Hockey from Home 2 and Dylan, 2 of our exclusive members in the live chat here. Ortega lost fairly to Yair. Yo, what's up, Ethan? Ethan's here as well. It was an injury. Agreed. I don't think there was a lot of controversy there either. Kari, yo, what's up, Kari? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yo, Isha, what's up, Kari? Good to see you. Man, we got a good crowd here to start. All right, well, let's jump right into it. We'll get through the first few, and then we'll get back to the comments. First fight on the card here, ladies and gentlemen, UFC Fight Night, Moreno versus Royval 2. We have Mohammed the fucking cheater. Mohammed Naimov against Eric Silva. Now he's still a cheating fighter. Let's be perfectly honest, man. I'll never forgive him for what he did to Nathaniel Wood. But anyways, 10-2 as a pro is the Tajikistani up against Eric Silva, who's 9-2, 36 years of age, so hardly a prospect, despite his record being 9-2. Eric King Silva, pretty balanced resume here. 3 KO, TKO, 4 submission, 2 decisions, 0-1 in the UFC, 1-0 off Contender Series, but he lost to TJ Brown in the UFC, guys. He lost to TJ Brown, and he got submitted by TJ Brown in the 3rd round. So not a good first look in the UFC. He beat a 3-0 guy on Contender Series, like big fucking whip, let's be honest. And though his resume was fine, 8-3 guy there, 6-2 when he was 1-1. Overall, like, not the most impressive resume. He does have some finishing ability. He is well-rounded. But Naimov, despite being a friggin' cheating bastard, he is a good fighter, okay? And he's very, very tough. 10-2, 5-0 in his last 5. Out of elevation fight team. 4 KO, TKO, 3 submission, 3 decisions. 2-0 in the UFC. He lost his fight on Contender Series. Came to the UFC fighting Malarkey on short notice, if I'm not mistaken. Ended up beating him. And then in the Nathaniel Wood fight again, just devastating. Fucking cheater. I ain't rooting for him. I'm rooting for Silva, but I am picking Naimov to win. He's a pretty big favorite here as well. I understand why. He's a cheating UFC fighter. I don't know, man. Like, I rewatched that fight. Like, I was watching the Guru's prediction video. I watched James Lynch. And then I just rotate through like other MMA creators out there who make prediction videos as well. Obviously, pick 'em MMAs every week too. And then I make my lists and I kind of draw from, because sometimes other MMA, most of the times, actually all the time, because again, I'm no expert, they always pick up on something that I forget. And I try to watch a little bit of tape if my memory's a bit foggy on the fighter and what they've, done for me lately, so to speak. And that one, I just forgot how pissed off I was watching that fight. And I got pissed off again watching that fight. So fuck Naimov, even though I pick him to win. I'm rooting for old man Silva over here out of Venezuela. Look, Silva's okay. He's nothing special. He's older. He's a crafty, sound veteran. Like I said, okay in every area, but Naimov is just way stronger, way tougher, hits harder, better grappler, really good at grabbing the gloves, amazing at grabbing the cage. But he's just better all around. Let's be perfectly honest. And his strength is just incredible. So we're going with him. Let's move on. I'm not salty at all. Let's move on to the next one again. We'll get back to your guys' comments here in a bit, but we're just going to fire through a few of these here. Makes it easier for those watching this not live to get a good viewing experience of being able to get a bunch of the picks. Victor Altamirano against Felipe dos Santos, 12-3 as a pro for Victor Altamirano up against Felipe dos Santos. Another shoot to box guy, 7-1 as a pro, but his loss was a short notice fight against Manuel that he went the distance with, and though clearly lost that fight, looked damn good in that fight. So keep that in mind. If you guys haven't taken any notes yet going into the UFC weekend, Victor Altamirano, 12-3, respectable record, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He's 33 years old. He's Mexican. There's a lot of Mexicans on this card. This is in Mexico. Training out of the United States, he's a pretty big underdog, plus 230. He lost his last fight to Tim Elliott. He got absolutely just manhandled in that one. He got Tim Elliott. All right. It was the Tim Elliott special in that one. 9-0 in LFA, though. 2-2 in the UFC, and he did have a win off Contender Series. Yeah, it's just, he came back in the UFC, lost to Carlos Hernandez upon beating him. It's funny, I was a split decision each time. Lacerda is awful. Vinicius Salvador, he's okay. He just hasn't really impressed me too much since being in the UFC, but he's tough. Felipe dos Santos, on the other hand, impressed me in a loss, right? And that's kind of like the Diego Lopez effect, if you will, where he looks so good in his loss to Evloev. Like I said, shooter box guy, 2 KO, TKO, 3 submission, 2 decision. I had 1 win in LFA, but my goodness, just watch this fight back. Kaikar France had to pull out of this one, so he came in on a few days' notice and looked amazing against Manuel. Manuel had to continue to push on the gas. Never was comfortable in this fight at all, and he has a pretty impressive resume. 6-1 guy when he was 3-0. 5-0 guy when he was 6-0, 5-2 guy when he was 5-0. No contest, accidental low blow here, whatever. 4-0 taking on a 5-0 guy. Like, he can, great trajectory, and he checks all the boxes, passed all the tests, trains with some incredible fighters. We're going with Felipe dos Santos on this one. Did I miss anything? No. I went over everything in my notes. All right, we'll go over one more here, then we'll get back to your guys' comments. Again, appreciate you guys for joining. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. If there's a UFC fight card on the weekend, we run it down every single Thursday. All right, we have Luis Rodriguez versus Dennis Bondar. Now, our buddy Charles Barkley brought this up the other night. He brought this up on the membership stream, and he's like, does Luis Rodriguez have a chance? And man, I went back and watched some of his fights, and he has a chance because he's got heavy hands and he's hard to finish, but he's just sloppy. He's sloppy compared to this friggin' David Beckham wannabe looking motherfucker in Dennis Bondar. Now, Dennis Bondar is nothing special, but he's sound. 31 years old, in his prime. He's been doing this for a while. 19-4 on a 2-fight win streak, unfortunately. But he's sound. He's fine everywhere. Nothing special anywhere. Whereas Luis Rodriguez, he's got a good chin. And if you scrap with him in the pocket and he lands one, you could go down, sort of thing. Other than that, he's sloppy everywhere, right? He's been slopping it up in Lux. And I was literally telling somebody about this the other day that like Lux is not a bad regional show because it's a bunch of these Mexican fighters who are like, you know what? Fuck jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Yeah, we'll go to our wrestling class and our jiu-jitsu class, but like at the end of the day, we're just gonna throw hands and elbows. A lot of them actually pick up Muay Thai, and we're just gonna put on exciting fights. So like a Lux fight is either the sloppiest shit show of mixed martial arts or a good scrap. And I got nothing against that as a viewer. But at the end of the day, like Luis Rodriguez is a Lux fighter through and through, ladies and gentlemen. He's on a great win streak right now. He is the slight underdog at plus 100, 15-2, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. 7 knockouts, 4 submissions, 3 decisions. He lost his Contender Series fight. He's fought in JFL and 5-0 in Lux. And yeah, okay, his last fight, not a good win. Every prediction show that I listened to was just like, this guy sucks. Look at his last fight. Again, he's not good. He's sloppy 100%. But like 5-1, 5-0, 5-1, like that's pretty good if you ask me. That's pretty good if you ask me. Now, I know you should be fighting better guys. Don't get me wrong, but I'll take a guy with a pretty good record in Lux. Now, none of them have found much success after this. You know, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. But I don't know. I think if we're going to be critical of the record, I mean, come on. Let's look at what the guys he's taken on leading up to that one. He did lose to Jerome Rivera on Contender Series, and Rivera's nothing special either. I think this is like one of those guys where if he lands, he'll put you out, especially a guy who's taken a lot of damage throughout his career and who has a lot more miles in Dennis Bondar. Just a lot more cage time, right? He's been in there longer. 4 KO, TKO, 13 submissions, which I like. 0 decisions. So Dennis Bondar, man. Love it. He finishes every single one of his fights. Oh man, this one I kept going back and forth because I'm like, does Mexican have enough takedown defense? Well, it doesn't look like in Lux, yes. In the UFC, you know what I mean? If Bondar though doesn't get the takedown and is forced into scrapping, even in parts of the round, like it's just super dangerous. Unsuccessful in the UFC thus far, but he went 8-1 in Professional Fight Union. Again, pretty low level. I don't even really watch it, nor do I even see highlights of it that often. 6-0 in WWFC, which again, that's not a bad regional show. Lost to Carlos Hernandez, looked really good in that one. Lost to Malcolm Gordon, but again, Carlos Hernandez, as much as we love Carlos Hernandez on this channel, because that's my roommate's friend, they went to college together. I think they played soccer together in college, to be perfectly honest. And Malcolm Gordon, I mean, oh, Canada, go Malcolm Gordon. I'll root for him as a Canadian, but yeah, he's not that great either. You know what I mean? And those were his last 2 losses to 2 guys who don't have the biggest names yet in the UFC. Yeah, that's the thing about Bondar. Again, fuck it. I'm rolling the dice. Luis Rodriguez, that is my pick. I'm going to sprinkle a little something on him as well, because if he can defend a takedown or 2, not be dragged to the ground after being up against the cage in the clinch of Bondar for a bit, and just land a big punch on him, I think he's going to knock him out. This might be the stupidest pick on the card. I'm rolling the dice on this one. I do think Bondar is the more well-rounded fighter, but Rodriguez is a little bit more scrappy. And if Bondar's having some issues taking it to the ground with ease, or there's just even segments of the round where Rodriguez forces him to scrap, it only takes one, man. He's got that power. And he's got a good chin if Bondar, outstrikes him as well. As Bondar is the quicker fighter, the more well-rounded fighter. Neither of them overall are that good. So I'm just going to say I'm going with the one who has a little bit more knockout power, in my opinion. All right, let's go back to the comments here. Viva la Mexico. What's up, Denial? What's up, Phony? What's up, Brandon Walker? Dennis the Menace. What's up, Alpha Zeta? Where's the fight streaming? There's no fights tonight, buddy. This is a prediction video. He's got it with that Charles Oliveira hair. Yeah, he changed that shoot box. I'm looking forward to see Felipe is great. Felipe, let's go. What's up, Funkmaster? I was playing your song on the intro. Beating Nathaniel Wood and Malarkey are good wins. Name off easy win. Yo, what's up, Chad? Beating Malarkey on short notice was an awesome win, 100%. Beating Nathaniel Wood, cheating, 5 or 6 times in the fight. I don't know if I call it a good win, but yeah, he beat Nathaniel Wood. I honestly think this is a sleeper card. Looking forward to it. Honestly, yeah, there's some good fights on this card. A lot of scrappy fighters. TJ Brown. TJ stands for Tomato Jar Brown. Comment of the night. Good to see you, Dylan. Good to see you, Funk Master. Yeah, the hockey from home times 3. And what's crazy is her second account is an exclusive member.
That shit beautiful than a motherfucker.
Oh my goodness. Locked and loaded. What's up, Funk Master? Not a fluke. It was a submission loss. What's up, guys? Hope you're doing good. Nice breakdown, Isha. Let's go. Win's a win. All right, let's go, guys. Let's continue on the card. There's 2 fights tonight, by the way. There's a Peruvian League. Was it FC? And A1 Combat tonight as well. If I get my shit done, we'll fire up one of those promotions. But regardless, tomorrow starts a whole crazy weekend of streams. But let's continue this card and we'll get to that at the end of the show. Claudio Puelles against Fares Ziam. Claudio Puelles, Phony Turgeson's favorite fighter. No hands, only jiu-jitsu, baby. Crone Gracie. Yeah, Puelles, very dangerous. I would say more dangerous than Crone Gracie. Let's be perfectly honest, because he's proven it in the UFC. He's got that. He's like the Ryan Hall. He's like the last of the Ryan Halls. He's the last of the jiu-jitsu guys, kind of still winning fights, although he's been crushing tomato jars, as we saw there with TJ Brown. Fares Ziam, 14-4 as a pro, 12-3. Claudio Puelles. Out of Peru. He's only 27 years old. Wow, he's been in the UFC for a while. Huge favorite is Ziam, and for good reason. 26 years of age. He's still very much a prospect as well. 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Training at a Kill Cliff, so very good gym. 4 KO, 2 KO, 5 submission, 5 decision. Very well rounded. 4-2 in the UFC. Fought in ACB where he lost, but had a bout in Russia. Beat Michael Figlak, who was 8-0. Beat Jai Herbert, who's 12-4. Lost to Terrence McKinney. Yeah, he got knocked down the first round. Beat 9-1. Luigi Vendramini. Regardless, 9-1 guy. And he also beat Jamie Malarkey when Jamie Malarkey was 12-3. Actually, some awesome wins in the UFC. If you look at these guys' records, and even on the regional scene coming up too. I know he only had 4-0, but undefeated, 5-1. Got a lot of experience at 21-8. Dude, not bad at all. The only thing is he's going up against Claudio Puelles, who's very much a grappler, very much like, I'm going to roll and pick your ankle. A guy who loves the leg locks. Like I said, loves picking the ankles. Loves those knee bars. Like that's his style of jiu-jitsu, that nasty, dangerous shit, right? And Ziam has not fought a grappler like that at all. All these guys are pretty much strikers. Some of them more well-rounded than others, but for the most part, he's fought predominant strikers, guys who don't have a lot of submission wins on their resume. So just keep that in mind. Claudio Puelles, good record, but again, his fights are just... We're going old school UFC. Like, if he could wear a gi, he'd probably wear a gi. 2 KO, TKOs, actually, maybe rash guards. 7 submissions, which is crazy. How the fuck does he have 2 KO, TKOs? 7 submissions, 3 decisions, 5-2 in the UFC. Shout out to Inca. I do like Inca. It's my favorite Peruvian league. I do like Inca. It's like low floor, high ceiling as far as the entertainment factor goes. And 4-0 in 300. Sparta! Lost to Dan Hooker. But he looked ridiculous in that one. Even the jiu-jitsu MMA fans that we got in the live chat here are probably like, yeah, he looked ridiculous in that one. But he did tear up Dan Hooker's knee. Like, the reason Dan Hooker won that fight is because Dan Hooker is a little fucked in the head. He's actually my favorite guy over in New Zealand. Because he's such a fucking warrior in the cage. For better or for worse, health wise for him, he just keeps going and going and going, and he allowed Puelles to rip his knee apart. I believe he had knee surgery and was out almost a year, or like 8 months after that fight. Because the next fight was Jalen Turner, if I'm not mistaken, where he took a bunch of damage in that one too, right? Like, Dan Hooker is just nuts, dude. So I don't think any other fighter, or there might be a few, but most fighters would have tapped and Puelles would have gotten another win, right? So Clay Guida, that was, Clay Guida's past his prime. He went in for a takedown, went in for a takedown. It's like, if you're going for a takedown, you're just diving into his net, right? You're diving into the trap. So if Fariziam can keep this on the outside and just force him to strike, dodge his takedowns, dodge his Imanari rolls. God, see, this is why pride rules are the greatest thing in the world. Because, I mean, Imanari is actually fighting in Ryzen this weekend. And if he goes for his Imanari roll, Buddy can just kick him in the face. Superior rule set. I'm going with Fariziam on this one. He is the favorite, and for good reason, in my opinion. Just do not shoot takedowns. Puelles is dangerous. Obviously, he has to watch those takedowns, but I just think he's a little too one-dimensional. Ziam's well-rounded, and he should be prepared for this style, right? He trains at a good gym. They should be ready and know exactly what one-dimensional Puelles is going to throw at him. Force it to the feet. He outstrikes him easy, and he has a reach advantage as well. All right, Edgar Cháirez against Daniel Lacerda. How the fuck is Lacerda still in the UFC, bro? Seriously, is he a shoot? No, he's not even a shoot box guy. I was gonna say maybe it's because like shoot box has some pull due to like just a ton of their fighters being in the UFC and Oliveira, former champ, and etc. But he's not even from shoot box, man. 11-5, and he's won no contest against Cháirez, and fucking 4 losses in his last 5 fights. Yeah, he's skilled. He gasses himself out early and loses fights every single time, man. Edgar Cháirez, he's a fine fighter. Well-rounded, good MMA fighter. Nothing special, but deserves to be in the UFC. And, I mean, look, in his last loss, Tetsuya Terra could not submit him. He defended every submission. He had good scrambles. And though Tetsuya Terra won every round, he didn't do a lot of damage on Cháirez. He controlled him. But Cháirez couldn't get finished, man. And I originally thought Tetsuya Terra was going to just plow through him. Nope. No. So I was actually very impressed with that. He's got decent boxing. He's got decent grappling. Like I said, he's good everywhere, not great anywhere. So he's going to be one of these guys well outside the rankings and probably win, loss. UFC will keep putting him on their Mexico cards. He's still 28 years of age, so he does have time to improve as well. And again, the no contest was against Daniel Lacerda, where, I mean, come on, man. Cháirez was beating him up. Let's be perfectly honest. It was an early stoppage, but yeah, Cháirez, I mean, you can hear it in my voice. Cháirez is going to win this one. That is my pick. But as we do here, as accustomed to the cadence of the show, we'll go through it here. 10-5 is a pro for Cháirez. 4 KO, TKO, 6 submissions, 0 decisions. 0-1 in the UFC, 1 no contest, and lost in Contender Series. Came in to fight Tetsuya Terra. I don't think it was on short notice, but I think he had like a few weeks before them was fighting in Fury. We're beating 8-3 guys, so shout out to him there. UWC. See, I think Lux is better than UWC, but that's a conversation for another day. His record is fine. It doesn't jump out on the page, but that is his type of game, right? And he's fought UFC caliber guys on the regional scene, mind you, in a loss here to Aguilar in a title fight there in UWC, who Aguilar is going to be on this card as well. Trillo, for example, who's, fighting high level too. So again, even in losses, he has more experience than fucking Daniel Lacerda. He's just not a fan, as you can hear in my voice. 5 KO, TKO, 6 submissions. And you'd think I would be for a guy who only finishes his opponents. I know why. Because he goes ham early. He smashes that fucking gas tank. And then it's over. And then it's over if his opponents last. 4-1 no contest in the UFC, 2-1 in Shuto. I mean, this is his last chance, man. And like again, he won the first round against CJ Vergara. Then Vergara beat him. He looked good. He looked good early against Altamirano. Then he gassed and he beat him. Francisco Figueiredo, man. He lost knee bar. Same thing. Started off early. Lost in that one. I don't remember him fighting Jeff Molina, but Jeff Molina beat him in the second round and knocked him out. So, I mean, I don't know, man. He's just disappoints me every single time because he's fun to watch, but for like 3.5 minutes. I got Edgar Cháirez winning this one. Like I said, well-rounded, just better. Skilled, but just has not been able to put it together is Daniel Lacerda. All right, one more here, then we'll get back to your guys' comments. Jesus Aguilar against Mateus Mendonça. Now, Mendonça dropping down to flyweight here. He originally was fighting at 135, so he's going to be massive for the division. And Aguilar's small already for the flyweight division. So the difference in height and range, just in figure here is going to be insane, quite frankly. 2 losses in a row in the UFC for Mateus Mendonça, who's 10-2 as a pro, going up against Aguilar, who had that beautiful overhand right that knocked out Shannon Ross clean, ladies and gentlemen. I know y'all remember that. And he's still pretty young. I mean, both of them are young. He's 27 going up against a 25-year-old out of Brazil. Mendonça is the favorite at minus 150 here. Let's take a look at his resume. Shoot to box guy, 3 KO, TKO, 3 submissions, 3 decisions, so very well rounded. He won his Contender Series fight, but has not been able to get a win in the UFC since. Now he went up against Javid Bashrat. No shame in losing a decision, right? A decision. He went the distance with them, so that is huge. But the performance against Nate Maness was, quite frankly, embarrassing. He just basically delivered that submission on a silver platter. That ground and pound on a silver platter, going for the submission every time. It was weird. It was like he tried to go full Minari in that one. It just and Ryan Hall. It just didn't work. Before them was undefeated, was on an unbelievable win streak, and he didn't just fight cans. Look at the progression, right? So I liked his resume on the rise here, and he's very talented. He's got a huge reach. He's tall. He's just big for the division. He's huge for the division. He's got power as well. And he's fought fighters who are good at fighting in the pocket, who are good at controlling distance, in and out, who have good footwork. But having said all that, Aguilar hits fucking hard, man. And Aguilar is good at doing all that, managing the distance, in and out of the pocket. He's just so much shorter than him. He's tiny, dude. He is tiny. But he's got power. He's got power. Now, is Shannon Ross easy to knock out? I guess. He's been knocked out 4 or 5 times in the UFC, but you still have to give it to Aguilar. That was an unbelievable shot there. Only 2 losses in his pro MMA career. That was his only knockout, by the way. He's a pretty good wrestler. 6 submissions, 2 decisions, 1-1 in the UFC. He did lose to Tetsuya Taira, but before then was on a hell of a win streak where he actually... he actually has some good wins. 11-1, 6-2, 8-3, 6-2. Holy shit. Fighting in Combate Global, Contender Series, UWC, and actually fighting some good guys in UWC. So that's the thing. His fundamentals are good. Usually not super exciting. It's because that's the thing. In and out of the pocket, decent volume striker, good ground and pound striker, and uses his wrestling to get submissions. I'm going with Mendonça here, though. I think he's just going to be too much. I think he's going to match the power and be able to hit him more at range. I think he will be just as quick despite being bigger. And Aguilar's quick, but like, again, it's not like his 1-2 is going to knock you backwards sort of thing. Like he has to line up that big, perfect overhand. And again, that was his first and only knockout for how beautiful it was. Both of them have fought similar level guys throughout their career, though, as we just compared resumes. I was, impressed with both of them. So that is something to keep in mind. Mendonça is the minus 150 favorite right here, but plus 125 underdog. That's not bad for Aguilar if you want to sprinkle a little some on that. I just think Mendonça's size being bigger, possibly stronger as a result, lankier, and have the same power is just going to be too much for Aguilar. And I don't think Mendonça is going to be hit easily and as clean as some of Aguilar's last opponents as well, especially that of a Shannon Ross. So that is my pick, Mendonça. Let's go back to the live chat here. Yeah, he did finish Edgar Cháirez. Yeah, I said that when we were going through Cháirez's resume on the regional scene. With Cháirez again, decent grappling, so that's a good win to note. What's up, Hank the Tank? Good to see you. I hope Aguilar gets another miraculous one-punch KO. It was beautiful. Maybe you'll pull a Cody Brundage, though. I got Mendonça sub. What's up, Ethan? I don't know if I got him sub. I got him knockout versus sub or unanimous decision. One of my picks, Cháirez on this card. I despise Lacerda at this point. Hope he gets his arm snapped in this fight. Oh, geez. So there's no room for doubt. He lost by submission again. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily want to see his arm get snapped, but I am in your corner. I'm not a fan of Lacerda either. As if you rewind the tape, you'd have heard I was not high on him as all. What's up, Scott? Victor is training with Tim Elliott. Oh, no way. There you go. There you go. What's up, Scott? Good to see you. Pinche Walter, what's going on? I got ZM by decision. Cháirez. I'm undecided yet. I'm not even considering betting that Huela's fight. It got embarrassing in that Hooker fight towards the end. He was just lying on the canvas, gases. Puelas has a piece of the canvas lodged in his head still. Puelas got hands of fire and stone. A1 Combat is later. Same with FC or FCC, whatever it's called, that Peruvian league. Chillin', bro. Hope everything is good. Absolutely, absolutely. We want Lacerda to lose. But Aguilar has a win over Cháirez on the regional scene. That's what he was talking about. Boom. All right, let's continue, guys. Let's continue. Keep the comments coming. Absolutely love it. Smash that like button. You know the drill. Again, originally planned to stream A1 and or that FCC or whatever it's called. It's a moving target. I still got some things to do here tonight. I still haven't gone to the gym yet today, so I want to squeeze that in after this. It does start in a couple hours or an hour, couple hours. So we'll see. We'll see. If not, I'm going to be doing one Friday fights tomorrow morning, bright and early. And then that's just going to be the kickoff for all day Friday, all day Saturday, and most of Sunday as well. So usually I love it when there's fights on Thursday and we're able to do it, but today's just been busy, and I do want to get you guys my Rise and prediction video, so I have to edit that up as well. So it's a moving target. I'll if you see me stream, you'll see me stream, sort of thing. But again, and it's my fault. I napped earlier and I slept through my alarm. I was supposed to stream this like 4 hours earlier, but it is what it is. I clearly needed the sleep, brother. Clearly needed the sleep. Let's move up the card here. What is this? The final fight on the prelim. We have Cristian Quiñonez against Raoni Barcelos. My man Barcelos here. And I promise there's no bias here because I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who still talks him up despite him being 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He's just not going full Tony Ferguson and BJ Penn, though, and we'll get into that, you know. It's not like he's getting knocked out and looking, you know, horrendous in these losses. And he's the favorite in this one. So I think that says more about Cristian Quiñonez, who is not bad, but he's not good. And there's a lot of those fighters on this card, which honestly could make for a fun card, which was suggested in the live chat. Like, we might see a lot of scraps because there's a lot of capable journeymen and well-rounded, good but not great fighters on this card that I doubt are gonna lay on each other to win. Let's be perfectly honest. Especially with a bunch of Mexicans on this card, they scrap first and foremost. Let's freaking go. 27 years of age for Quiñonez going up against a 36-year-old Raoni Barcelos, 18-4 as a pro. Unlike Barcelos, 4-1 in his last five fights. The complete opposite. 10 KO TKO, 3 submission, 5 decision. He's never lost a decision. He's only been submitted twice and knocked out twice. 1-1 in the UFC. 1-0 off Contender Series. Didn't like his loss here. He just didn't look crisp or polished at all in the striking. Kyung Ho Kang rocked him, was able to get it to the ground easy and locked in that rear naked choke. So did not like him in this fight at all. But he looked good against Taha. He looked good on his Contender Series fight. And in some of these wins, man, he's been so dominant. And he's got the power in his mitts. I will say in his losses, he's looked really bad. So I don't know if it's one of those where he's like, when he's on, and when he's off, like he looks really bad sort of thing. But you can see he's put together win streaks against not the worst opponents. This one being an awesome win as well. So he's definitely like fundamentals he has down. He understands the assignment for the most part going out there. But if you notice that he's off early, he's probably going to lose sort of thing. Still relatively young, 27 years of age, and I do like watching Quiñonez fight, to be perfectly honest. But my boy Barcelos, man, this is the perfect opponent for him to shut those doubters up who are saying, bro, you should have hung up the gloves 5 fights ago. All right, 36 years of age, like I said, not looking good as of late. 1-4 in his last 5 fights. 8 knockouts, 2 submission, 7 decisions in his career as far as wins. 6-4 in the UFC, 5-1 in RFA, and 4-0 in Chuto Brazil. Lost to Kyler Phillips, unanimous decision. Now, Kyler Phillips beat him. Okay, Kyler Phillips outstruck him, and late in the 3rd round, you could see that Kyler Phillips had a little bit more of a gas tank than him. Not by a lot, though, but it was a back-and-forth good scrap. It was a back-and-forth good scrap, and it wasn't like Kyler Phillips dominated him throughout that one. Umar Nurmagomedov, yeah, there's his only knockout. He's only been knocked out once, okay? And it was to Umar Nurmagomedov who caught him. No shame in losing to Umar Nurmagomedov, okay? Absolutely destroyed Trevin Jones. We know Trevin Jones, he freaking sucks. He can't even get a good win on Cage Warriors. Yeah, he lost a close decision to Victor Henry. He lost a close decision to Valiev, but he was competitive in both of those fights. Good win against Taha, good win against Said Nurmagomedov, and again, this was in 2019, but still. Has he lost a step? 100%. Is he still a tough opponent, especially for these young guys? 100%. And I still think he's got the power. That's the last thing to fade, right? And his chin's still there. Now, Quiñonez could come in, get through him easy. He has that knockout power. So I think at plus 145 from a betting perspective, that's a good underdog. Go for the knockout, 1st or 2nd round. But I'm picking Barcelos to win this one. Brazil, baby. Let's freaking go. Still super capable and effective. Both of them have been beating and fighting similar level guys as of late. And again, when Quiñonez loses, and I know he lost in his last one, he just looks awful in his losses, where Barcelos is competitive, even north of 30. And Barcelos, dare I say, matches him in power with those straight shots. And let's see who has the better gas tank, the 36-year-old or the 27-year-old. But yeah, I'm going for Raoni Barcelos. That one might be rolling the dice a little bit as well, even though he is the favorite. All right, next fight on this card. First fight on the main card. And this one should be fun, ladies and gentlemen. We got Manuel Torres against Chris Duncan. I mean, this one should just be a barn burner. This one should stay on the feet. And we should see a knockout in this one. Let's be perfectly honest. We should. Or at the very least, we see a bunch of knockdowns in this one. I got... well, let's highlight them first. 14-2 for Torres against 11-1 Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan is 30 years of age, out of Scotland, and this one's even for a reason. These guys are just going to scrap. These guys are just going to scrap, and both of them relatively new to the UFC. Chris Duncan coming off Contender Series. He actually had an awesome knockout on Contender Series. He's 4-1 in his last 5 fights on a 4-fight win streak. 7 KO TKOs, 1 submission, 3 decisions. Fought in Bellator before coming to Contender Series. 3-0 in Bellator, 2-0 in the UFC, 1-1 on Contender Series. Again, not the best performance again, Ashmush, but he got it done. Close split decision against Omar Morales. Again, not the most exciting fight there. Did have a beautiful, beautiful knockout though on Contender Series, so I'll give him that. And he is tough. He's super tough. Like he'll take damage. He'll be knocked down multiple times and he'll continue to walk forward. He's a decent wrestler and he's strong up against the cage. He's got good clinch work, but it's those big power shots is where he does damage. Fight IQ, I don't mean to be disrespectful. It's not like he's the smartest fighter out there. It's like he knows what he's good at and just kind of always relies on those few things and doesn't shake it up, doesn't adjust on the fly. And he's been in situations where he's been forced to a couple times, especially in his last fight against Ash Moose. The one thing I'll say from him, though, is he's tough as nails, which could be an issue for Torres because Torres is very dangerous, has a ton of finishing ability on the feet. And the thing about Torres, if he can't put out Chris Duncan in like the first or in the first few moments of the second round, that might be where Chris Duncan comes back in this one after Torres keeps throwing these big shots or elbows or knees. Manuel Torres doing Manuel Torres things. That's where Chris Duncan, who has a pretty damn good gas tank, could march forward at the end and win back the fight, win back the round, or maybe even score a finish for himself. So there's something to keep in mind here as we take a look at the 14-2 Manuel Torres. 7 KO TKO, 6 submission, 1 decision. This guy's a finishing machine. 2-0 in the UFC, 1-0 Contender Series. Dude, yeah, he knocked out Nicolas Mota with a beautiful elbow in the first round. Beautiful hook in the first round on Frank Camacho. Again, not the best guys here, but still defeating them in beautiful fashion in the first round. I mean, look how many, dude, what the fuck? All his last wins have been in the first round. Rear naked choke, guillotine, punches here, right hook, elbow. His last 5 wins have all been first round finishes. That's amazing. That's amazing. Lost to 6-0 guy was his last loss, and then a 9-8 guy before that. But it's not like he's just been crushing cans his whole career. Actually, a decent trajectory as well. 3-1 guy when he was 3-0. I mean, these two are a little sus, but 6-2 when he was 6-0, 14-5 when he was 7-0. I like that. This, probably like this was like maybe a wake-up call for him. Beats a 2-0 guy to get back in the groove of things, loses, and then just after that, it's like, fuck that, and just starts going on a run. Look, he is very, very talented on the feet. He's got okay takedown defense. The biggest concern here in this one is if you're rooting for Torres or you're betting on him to win, it's that like you hope that he does enough damage and doesn't gas enough where Chris Duncan can take this over because Manuel Torres might not finish Chris Duncan because he's that tough. Having said that, I'm going with Torres. Way quicker, way just like in his footwork, in his striking, way more dangerous, and just way more matter in this case. Chris Duncan, like I said, but he's just a lot slower than that of a Torres. Manuel Torres, nasty striking. I don't know if he has a Muay Thai training, but he's got that nasty Muay Thai style. Very quick combos. Chris Duncan is hittable, but takes those hits and marches forward. All of Torres's UFC fights, Dana White Contender Series included, all of them have been wins by finishes. And like I said, all of them have been first round finishes. He also has the reach advantage, does Torres. So I'm going with him, but just tread lightly in that Chris Duncan might not be finished. So I'm interested to see how Torres handles that. All right, Yazmin Jauregui. How do I pronounce him? Jauregui against Sam Hughes. Yazmin Jauregui against Sam Hughes here. Sam Hughes 8-5 as a pro. Yazmin 10-1. And very highly touted prospect coming off a loss in this one. She's the big favorite. I believe the biggest favorite on the card here. -470, 24 years of age, and she is 4-1 in her last five fights. Because only one loss in her career, and that was in her last one. Sam Hughes, like I said, 8-5 as a pro, 3-2 in her last 5 fights, coming off a win. 31 years of age. 2 KO, TKO, 3 submissions, 3 decisions. Pretty well rounded. 3-4 in the UFC, 2-1 coming off LFA. She beat Jacqueline Amorim. And Jacqueline Amorim coming off LFA. Champion in LFA. A little bit of hype for her. Was undefeated as well. So good win by Sam Hughes against Amorim. Now, Amorim's okay. She bounced back. She's not going to be like a champion or anything special, but like a good women's regional fighter. And she's going to be a good fighter in the UFC for respectively. But again, good win. Nothing crazy there. Lost to an 8-0 gal. Beat a 5-1 Elise Reed. That's not bad. Beat a 6-2 gal. I mean, on paper, it doesn't look bad, but 3-fight losing streak here to decent opponents. I'll give it that, but I just haven't been impressed with Sam Hughes, to be perfectly honest. She's fine. She'd probably tear it up on the regional scene, but being fed a young prospect who with incredible striking in Yazmin, she's being fed to the wolves here, right? The UFC wants to re-hype Yazmin after getting knocked out by Denise Gomez. Now, Denise Gomez, that's her thing, right? She's got that Mexican power, okay, despite being Brazilian. 24 years of age, 7 KO TKO, 0 submissions, 3 decisions. That's awesome to see from a young, small women's MMA fighter. 2-1 in the UFC, 3-0 in Combate Global, or Combat Americas, 3-0 in Combate Global. Other than getting knocked the fuck out by Denise Gomez, she had a great win against Nunes, an amazing fight against Lucindo. This one went the distance and it was awesome. This fight against Claire Lopez knocked her out early. Claire Lopez actually is fighting this weekend on Ryzen. Dude, knocked back-to-back first-round knockouts against 5-0 gal and Claire Lopez, who's a scrapper. So again, very, very good striking, and this one should be an easy win for Yazmin, and that's who I am picking in this one. Still a very good prospect. Got KO'd, but no shame getting KO'd by Gomez. Sam Hughes doesn't have KO power. She's slow, doesn't have great takedowns, has good takedown defense, but I doubt that Yazmin is going to try to take her down. Both of them are scrappy. I will give them that. Yazmin does have power. She is a volume striker, and she has power in that jab as well. And she's been in more wars than Sam. And the only way I think Sam is going to win this one is if Sam goes to war with her, and I don't think she'll even have the chance, because I think Yazmin will either just show her dominance right away and just kind of run away with it for 3 rounds, or finish her, right? Or finish her. So we're going with Yazmin on this one. Okay. One more here, then we'll get back to your guys' comments here. We got Raul Rosas Jr. against Ricky Turcios. Now, I didn't know this, but apparently Ricky Turcios is teasing a retirement. And he did in his last fight as well. 2 prediction videos talked about that. And there was an article, I don't think it was through ESPN. I forget where it came from, actually. Maybe it was Sportskeeda or something. But anyways, that talked about how Ricky might retire if he loses this fight, which is crazy. He's only 30 years of age, still very new to the UFC. It's going up against Raul Rosas Jr., who bounced back after his first UFC loss to Cristian Rodriguez, beating Terrence Mitchell with ease. Out-grappled him, dominated, easy win in that one. Still only 19 years of age for Raul Rosas Jr., who needs to continue to fight guys like Ricky Turcios, right? Guys who are skilled but aren't dangerous as far as finishing ability. Guys you can test out your boxing with, test out your striking with. So I do like this matchup by the UFC, especially to, okay, Raul, let's see what you got against a guy who's skilled here, a guy who's, if you keep this on the feet, you can go toe-to-toe with. But Ricky Turcios, a shadow of what he looked like on The Ultimate Fighter. And there were some good fighters from that season. Like he beat Brady Heistand to, I believe, to win the show. In the UFC, he just looked so reserved. Now he crisp, clean striking. Again, his technique is good. Not a lot of power behind his strike there. His jiu-jitsu is okay. His grappling defense is okay. His grappling offense is good. His wrestling is fine. But there's no like kill factor. There's not a lot of pace. He throws 200 strikes and lands 40 sort of thing. You know what I mean? He's coming off a win, but it was like, it wasn't a win in a fight, right? He won point fighting there. He won point fighting. 12-3 as a pro. And for an alpha male fighter, it is interesting. 2-1 in the UFC, 1-0 in Bellator, 0-1 on Contender Series, so he came through the Ultimate Fighter after that. Yeah, this fight was it was awful. It was an awful fight. Split decision. I mean, it was because he threw more, not because he landed more. Zahabi beat him quite handedly. Split decision to win his UFC contract. Again, that's just the nature of the game. Split decision. It was a good, it was a good fight. But in these two fights, he looked really good. Again, and then Argueda's a good fighter as well. On the regional scene, looked good too. Again, skill is there. His striking is fine, but just doesn't have that, I don't know. It doesn't look like he wants it now that he's in the UFC. Raul Rosas Jr., he wants it, man. He's young. He's hungry. 8-1, 2 KO, TKO, 5 submission, 1 decision. Fights at a crazy pace. 2-1 in the UFC. Won his contender series fight with ease. Got humbled in this one. Showed that there was levels to the game against a respectable 8-1 Cristian Rodriguez. Bounced back, 5 months later against Terrence Mitchell. And had some good names on his resume. I do think that Raul Rosas Jr. will win this one. He's been more active, coming off a good win. Turcios, technical, no finishing ability, look good and tough, bad in the UFC. Rosas Jr.'s pace is relentless, and Turcios is gonna have to fight on the back foot here, not even be able to. What did I think it was? One of the other prediction videos said that they said rob another fighter of a decision because Turcios doesn't necessarily beat them up, but looks like he's more active. I think Rosas Jr. is gonna be pushing the pace here. He's not gonna allow Turcios to rob him of a decision at all. If it stays on the feet though, I'm interested to see Rosas Jr.'s boxing up against a crisp, clean striker in Ricky Turcios, but I am going with the favorite. I am going with Rosas Jr. Let's get back to the comments. This is looking like a really fun card. Don't see too many decisions on this one. Mexican crowd is going to be on fire. Absolutely. I think Torres and Duncan will be a great fight. Torres finding the finish on Duncan would be awesome. I have not yet. I didn't know it was a pay-per-view. G'day, guys. What's up, Metallica fan? What's up, JC? Good to see you, by the way. G'day, guys. Hope all is well. Can't wait for the weekend. Yeah, dude. I mean, even starting tonight, A1 Combat and Peruvian MMA in an hour and a half, and then one Friday fights onward. Just go. It's going to be amazing.
That shit beautiful than a motherfucker.
Ethan thinks Duncan wins. That'd be a shame. Chris Duncan's so bad technically, gets hit like a human target. Eventually his youth won't save him. Manuel Torres leveled Nicolas Mota with an elbow inside 130. It was a beautiful thing. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Duncan wins 3rd round TKO. I've never missed a pick on a Mota fight. He keeps my parlays. Nice. I'm biased, though. Isha, he's won the 1st round in every fight. That's insane. Except for single decision. Topology doesn't show it, but those wins with no method of victory are also 1st round wins for Torres. Okay, thanks for clearing that up. The elbow KO was sick. Guy's a finished machine. Duncan's chin is the only thing that can save him. He has also only ever lost in the 1st round. Torres has seen the 2nd round in his entire, or has never seen the 2nd round in his professional career. Incredible. Both these women are solid fighters. This is a competitive mismatch. Yo, what's good? Pick'em MMA, one of our exclusive members. Again, shout out to Pick'em MMA for hitting 1,000 subscribers on his channel, and thank you to everyone on our channel who helped him get there. I really want Ricky Turcios to win, but his last performance scares me. I had no idea Pick'em MMA's name was Nick for the longest time, and I'm a mod to his channel. How sad is that? He's just Pick'em MMA to me. Just like my co-host on the Soda Pod. I even in front of his family, I call him Hoppy because I will never not know him by anything other than the state of Hoppy. What's up, Gino? Good to see you. Moreno, Royval, PFL versus Bellator, Ryzen, and KSW Epic all in one day. Dude, boxing as well, dude. Boxing as well. Inoue's younger brother's fighting on a boxing card right after Ryzen. It's unbelievable. Can't wait for Saturday. What's up, Western Mass Climber? Good to see you. I'll be seeing you in the chats, in the MMA chats around YouTube, my man. It's good to see you. I started doing $10 parlays on entire cards every week. Maybe one day I'll hit and I'll be rich. There you go, Gino. Ricky gets KO'd. I'm going to be sad, man. One of my favorite tough contestants. I rooted for him too. And again, he looked really good on tough against decent opponents. Isha over MMA Guru 30-27. His picks always end up being a little bit better than me. Like there's one or two that I'll roll the dice on and that I'll listen to him because I do listen to his picks and I'm like, fuck that. Fuck that. And one of them is, God damn, one of them is Luis Rodriguez. I know I'm going to get burned on that one, but I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Canada over UK. Let's go. All right, let's continue. Next, we have two of my favorite prospects going at it right away, ladies and gentlemen. This one is going to be a banger. This one's going to be potentially fight of the night. Daniel Zellhuber against Francisco Prado. Two of my favorite prospects in the UFC right now. Prado's only 21 years of age, ladies and gentlemen. 21 years of age. Zellhuber, 24 years of age. 14-1, 12-1. Let's get into it here. Francisco Prado. He is the pretty big underdog on this one, but my goodness, is he a fun underdog to sprinkle a little some on, okay? 12-1, like I said, out of Argentina, trading out of the Goat Shed in Florida, so actually a pretty good gym. 6 KO TKOs, 6 submissions, 0 motherfucking decisions, ladies and gentlemen. 1-1 in the UFC, 6-0 in Samurai Fight House. Samurai Fight House is okay. They've actually pushed a few guys to Contender Series. They pushed a few guys to the UFC. Beat Otman Azaitar in his last fight. As the underdog, everyone thought Azaitar was going to come back to the UFC after his freaking potato and incident and time off. Was able to beat Azaitar. Or was that his younger brother who had the potato incident? No, that was Otman Azaitar. His older brother didn't have the duffel bag full of potato incident. We don't have time to get into that story on here. Just look it up. It's crazy. Lost against Jamie Mullarkey. Again, Jamie Mullarkey, I know now we're really critical of his chin, but like he still is a good fighter, right? He still is a good fighter. He's one of those who's like just outside of the rankings. Beat a 13-3 guy on Samurai Fight House, 6-0, 8-2, 21-15. Again, not the best record there, but an experienced guy and some good names on his way to the UFC. He took that fight on short notice, if I'm not mistaken, against Jamie Mullarkey and was able to go the unanimous decision with him. And I believe he even dropped Mullarkey once in that one as well. Comes in on a full camp and knocks out Azaitar early, man. And he's so tough. He's so freaking tough. Going up against Daniel Zellhuber, who is a lot more polished, very good distance striker. He is taller than him. He is lankier than him. And he is very, very skilled as well. 14-1 in his pro MMA career. And he is 4-1 in his last 5 fights on a 2-fight win streak. Trains out of Extreme Couture as well. So training in North America at an awesome gym. 7 KO TKOs, 3 submissions, 4 decisions, 2-1 in the UFC, and he had a beautiful win on Contender Series. I've been following this guy since his Contender Series win. I love that win against Lucas Almeida. Lost his UFC debut. It was just kind of like, all right, welcome to the big leagues, boy. Looked amazing against Venata. Looked amazing against Giagos in his last 2 fights. Again, 2 of my favorite prospects in the UFC. He had a great resume coming into this one, fighting in a ton of decent promotions. Lux, Icon. Well, I guess only 2, but still. If it goes the distance, Zellhuber is probably going to win, but Prado, despite only being 21 years old, is very good. Is very good at what he does. Very good at coming in and out of the pocket. Very good at handling guys who are tall, long, and lanky. Good at defending takedowns. Strong up against the cage. Stronger than Zellhuber, despite Zellhuber being bigger. So I'm actually going to go with Prado on this one. Plus 210. Show me the money, baby. Show me the money. This one's going to be an awesome fight. These guys could fight each other like 5 years down the road as well. I love these prospect matchups early. I think Zellhuber, this might be another wake up moment to like, okay, here's another guy who's used to fighting distance fighters. Because the last guy Zellhuber lost to had never been KO'd. Okay. Francisco Prado's never been KO'd. So that's another thing too. Zellhuber, it's not like he's going to knock out Prado. And in his last loss, a guy who couldn't get knocked out either, a guy who Zellhuber threw everything in the kitchen sink at him early and then lost the second and third round, if I'm not mistaken. Prado's very tough, more of a brute fighter than a fancy striker. Definitely has more power. Zellhuber, though, is so technical and is nasty. Don't get me wrong. It's not like he doesn't have any finishing ability at all. He is nasty. But we also got to think Prado, too. At 21 years of age, like, he's a sponge as far as getting better and picking up new things. So maybe he has some more tools as well. Maybe... I don't know. Maybe he's going to employ more leg kicks. Like, I'm just so excited for this one because they're both so young. They're both getting better every fight, and yeah, the fact that Prado's plus 210, I gotta take the finisher on this one. I gotta take the finisher who doesn't get finished. So that is my pick. Or we'll get back to that to you guys' comments after these two fight rundowns and the degenerate and safe parlay of the week. Again, stay tuned later tonight. My Rise and Picks. I filmed a Rise and Picks and Predictions video that will drop later tonight. Co-main event of the evening. Co-main event of the evening to welcome back Brian Ortega is the last guy he fought and lost to, Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez has been busy. Has been busy in Brian Ortega's layoff. Or layoff, layoff in relationship. Layoff in fight camps. Layoff in pay. T-City, Brian Ortega, he's back, but he's got a tall task in Yair Rodriguez, who's won an interim belt, has remained active, and yeah, is coming off a loss to Alexander Volkanovski, the champ, who unified the title. But before them was on 2-fight win streak, beat Josh Emmett, beat Brian Ortega. Now, in the chat, if you guys want to go at it here, but Brian Ortega suffered that injury because of Yair Rodriguez, and Yair Rodriguez was piecing him up in that first round before the no contest due to injury, all right? Before then, he lost to Max Holloway. Guys, watch that fight. That was potentially fight of the year that year. That was an incredible fight. I even showed my sister, who doesn't watch MMA, that fight, but who trained some martial arts growing up. And she even was like, yeah, this is a beautiful display of combat sports. And I was like, right? So go check that one out. Yeah, Yair Rodriguez lost that fight. His foot was a balloon, but it was an incredible fight. And he went 3 rounds with Max Holloway in a back-and-forth striking war. Before then, beat Jeremy Stevens, sent Jeremy Stevens packing 4 years ago. And it's crazy to say that Yair Rodriguez has been the more active fighter than anybody, but he has been more active than Brian Ortega. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Emotional.
Brian Ortega, he is the underdog in this one, plus 135. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, and he hasn't fought in over a year and a half. 3 KO TKO, 7 submissions, 5 decisions, 7-3 and 1 no contest. Again, a loss to Yair Rodriguez in the UFC. Before then, fought in Respect in the Cage. Respect. Lost to Yair, lost to Volkanovski, almost had Volkanovski twice. That was actually a very fun fight, guys. Very fun fight in that one. Did lose the decision. His face was absolutely destroyed. And if anything, he probably should have lost due to doctor stoppage. But they let him go. Shout out to Herb Dean. Beat the Korean Zombie, but that was like the beginning of the end for Korean Zombie. And it was a close fight, regardless, right? Lost to Max Holloway, and that wasn't even Max Holloway's best performance. Before them was on a fun win streak. Frankie Edgar, when people forget, in 2018, Frankie Edgar was still winning. But yeah, he beat Frankie Edgar, beat Cub Swanson, again, someone who was still winning. Beat Moicano, who was undefeated. Beat Clay Guida, who somehow was still winning as well. So like, these aren't, despite rolling our eyes at some of these names now, like, they were still good. So like, this win streak rightfully earned him. I shouldn't say that title shot coming off Chan Sung Jung, but still, there was no one else, given that Max Holloway had fought Alex twice at that point. I like T-City. I like how he scraps. I like how his submissions are nasty, but I'm going with El Pantera on this one. I'm going with El Pantera. I mean, again, he already beat him, in my opinion. He already laid down the smackdown. He already pieced him the fuck up in the first round in their last fight. It's been so long since Brian Ortega has last fought, so will he have ring rust? I think Yair obviously is the better striker on the feet. Brian Ortega has the better jiu-jitsu, but that's not to say that Yair Rodriguez doesn't have good scrambles, doesn't have good jiu-jitsu either. So I'm just more confident that Yair just has more tools, and though Ortega is tough, is he durable? I mean, he fell apart last time, right? Yair doesn't have bad BJJ and submission defense. Ortega is dangerous on the ground, no doubt, and he does have good straight punch power. Now, he knocked down Volk a couple times. Now, Volk gets knocked down and knocked out now regularly, it seems. But just for what it's worth, he does have power. It's just he's slower in his striking. And then I think Rodriguez is just going to leg kick the fuck out of him. Honestly, I think Ortega loses mobility quickly, like in 2 rounds, due to Yair Rodriguez leg kicks. And Ortega just hasn't had a good win since Frankie Edgar. Like the Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie win, fun fight to watch. Really cool way he won right at that was Yair beat Chan Sung Jung like that. Regardless, very fun fight. But I don't know if that's like a good win. Like Frankie Edgar was his last good win. That was the end of the last good run, in my opinion. Yair Rodriguez 10-3-1 in the UFC, 6-1 in what the heck is this? Mexican fighting promotion. 5 submissions, 7 knockouts, 6 decisions. Yeah, he had the elbow in the final second. My bad. Lost to Frankie Edgar there. This is why we are living in the darkest timeline. Not because Conor McGregor will never fight, because this fight was canceled. Could you imagine a young Yair Rodriguez and Zabit? The way that both of these guys strike, that would have been an amazing fight. Anyways, Yair Rodriguez, I'm going with El Pantera. That is my pick. All right, we'll get back to your guys' comments after this. Main event of the evening, Brandon Moreno against Brandon Royval 2. Brandon Royval taking this fight on relative short notice. Okay, relative short notice. Brandon Moreno was originally supposed to fight Amir Albazi. However, that fight was canceled, 4 or 5 weeks ago? So, I think 4 weeks ago. So, Raw Dog Brandon Royval, who is just coming off a loss, by the way, a decision loss to Pantoja for the belt, is looking to get right back in the mix of it, but it's not like it's a short notice fight, few days notice. Like he's had a few weeks to prepare for this, up against the assassin baby, Brandon Moreno. Moreno, 21-7-2, and what a crazy career this guy has had in and out of the UFC. Ultimate Fighter contestant early in his career where he fought Pantoja on that show. 30 years of age, ladies and gentlemen. He is the big favorite here, and for a reason. Full camp. Fought Royval before, and I mean, respectfully, looked good in his last fight. 5 KO TKOs, 11 submissions, 5 decisions, and he's never been knocked out. He's never been submitted. He's only lost via decision. He's tough as freaking nails. Even when he gets knocked down in his fights, he gets right back up and is able to recover quickly. 9-4-2 in the UFC. It's been a crazy, like I said, UFC run in and out. Been affiliated with them since 2016. 1-0 in LFA. Lost to Pantoja. Split decision. Close decision. I think it was the right decision, but what a fight that was. I mean, both of these guys dragged each other to hell and back, whereas Pantoja soundly beat Royval, especially once he got on top of him. It was like, okay, there's no way Royval's getting back up to his feet this round. Great win against Davis. Good first round against Davison Figueiredo anyway. Second round was pretty good as well. Obviously, it was a doctor stoppage due to an eye poke or something rather, being punched in the eye there. But he was winning that fight. Easy win against Kai Kara France. Close decision loss to Figueiredo before that. And we all remember, the amazing moment of him winning the belt. Amazing back and forth against Figgy. I mean, it's crazy that this guy for 2.5 years, the only guy he was fighting was Davison Figueiredo. Beat Brandon Royval in 2020. And Kai Kara, he's a legend, man. He's a legend. And he's only 30 years of age. So Brandon Royval, 15-7, was on a 3-fight win streak, which earned him that title shot. He's plus 205. He is the underdog. Both of these guys have tremendous cardio, by the way, and fight at a very high pace. So this one should go the distance unless Royval is the first one to fucking crack Moreno, because he is wild. Brandon Royval is wild. He's not a polished fighter at all. He doesn't have good technique, like sound, good martial arts technique. You know what I mean? He's scrappy, which can work, and it's not necessarily a detriment. But he's wild, right? And then if you can make the reads on him and things like that, like Moreno's able to do with fighters at the highest level, it's not as scary. But he is a Factory X guy, so you know he's got them low kicks. 4 KO, TKO, 9 submission, 2 decisions, 5-3 in the UFC, 6-2 in LFA, and 1-0 in the World Series of Fighting. Yeah, lost to Pantoja, beat Nicolau, beat Schnell, beat Bon Toren. Now, is that enough to earn you a title shot? Well, with all the injuries and Moreno always getting the shot and Pantoja just getting the belts, well, it was the right decision at that point. I didn't have any issue with it. I'll throw my pen around. I want to see Kai Car-France get back in the mix. I want to see Manuel Kopp get in the mix. Buddy, make fucking weight, Manuel Kopp. Make weight. God damn it, dude. Damn it, Manuel Kopp. Make weight. Anyways, his last 2 losses were to Pantoja and Moreno, and he's beaten pretty much everybody else in the UFC. He has beaten everybody else in the UFC. He's got nasty elbows. He's got nasty knees. But I think Moreno, he's hard to crack. He's never been put out. I don't think Royval's going to be the one. Put it this way, if Figueiredo couldn't knock out Moreno, landing clean on the chin with his right hand and left hook, Royval, even if he lands a fucking knee to his chin, isn't going to knock him out, right? Moreno's going to get right back up and keep moving. He's got better wrestling. He's got better submission grappling, offensive wrestling too. So I think Moreno is better everywhere, and he's got better boxing and better striking. So I think Moreno is better everywhere. I like Royval, but Moreno is the guy here to get right back into the title picture. Wrestling, grappling, he does everything better.
Exactly that.
Royval is good on the feet, but Moreno's, he's too tough. Better boxer, better jab. I think does he have a bigger reach as well? He may be a little bit shorter. Okay, they had pretty much the same reach there. Royval took this fight on short notice. He does have finishing ability because he's a wild, but again, he's not going to get that done against Moreno. Not really technical anywhere else. Both of them have good cardio, so I think this is going to be a really fun main event. I think this is going to go the distance, and I think we're going to love every single round. Okay, before we get back to your guys' comments here, the degenerate parlay of the week, we're going Hughes, Lacerda, and Turcios. Safe parlay of the week, we're going Nemov, Moreno, and Dos Santos. Back to the comments we go. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Do you know what to UFC Fight Night in DC? My parlay, or my home city, and I put $1 on a full card parlay, and I won $970. Let's go. Strike KO'd Overeem with 3 seconds left. Dude, that's awesome. Quick way to turn $1 into 1,000. Damn, Dylan. Next week, Rosenstrike is getting smashed. Oh, yeah, I forgot Biggie Boy's fighting next week. He's getting in shape, though. You've been seeing those Instagram posts. I couldn't believe what was happening. If Song Yudong beats Stamen and didn't draw, it could have been 1,500. Wow. Can we cheers? Cheers, buddy. Can't wait for this fight. I'm back in Prado KO. Let's go. Wow, Bellator is going to wash PFL besides Bader. Honestly, I'm going full KSW epic. We will stream the end of Bellator versus PFL, PFL versus Bellator, but we're going KSW epic. I mean, pasta with bacon and Texas beans. Ooh, sounds good. Yo, what up, Kick-Ass McGrath? Great to see you, my man. Excited for this weekend of fights. It's awesome. Fireworks on this one. Let's go. Fireworks on this one and fireworks in KSW, man. That epic card's going to be amazing. Let's go Prado Viva Argentina. This card's going to be more action-packed than UFC 300 ends up being results-wise at least. I think you're right, dude. I think you're right. Let's go T-City. He's winning this one. Yair is going to cripple T-Shitty. Let him know, Isha. Time for Ortega's shoulder to pop again. All my homies hate Ortega. I don't hate Ortega. I just want to make that clear. I don't hate Ortega. I just I'm just being realistic, boys. I'm just being realistic. Texas beans is basically baked beans with any meat of choice slow cooked. Oh my God, that sounds so good. Imagine that with like burnt ends. Hernan, please. It's so good. I'm melting. Yair bodied that jabroni. T-City sub is inevitable. He was so close to choking Volk multiple times and has no neck. He's pure head and shoulders. Yeah, but Yair's not bad on the ground. T-City's got his shoulder destroyed by Yair's submission, Ethan. Ortega's wash. Let's go, Moreno. Moreno, me and Dylan, boy. A lot of people hyping Volk's chin before the Islam fight, like Chad Mendes didn't rock his shit. The OG Lego master, dude. I wonder if he has the first ever like Lego set that came out. I have it still, by the way. I wish I kept it in the box. I better be worth some money. It was an Egyptian set. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I promise you, man, I will be next Mighty Mouse. Dude, that like sent chills down my spine. Brandon squared. Yes. Brandon Moreno, Royval 2. Royval is going to crack him. I honestly think Royval's boxing is better. I don't think his boxing is better. Again, I think his wild knees and crazy spinning back fist when he gets back up or like ends his combos are dangerous because it's hard to read. But if you get a read on him and get his distance, Moreno's boxing is way better, dude. Can't be mad at either guy winning here, though. At least it's a nice battle for sure. Absolutely. Are you watching Gandhi vs. Joshua? I think it's like in a week or two. Yes, I will be streaming that one and watching that. Ring rust is a worry for me with Ortega. I lean towards the active fighter in those scenarios, especially at the upper echelon. I need to see the Pantoja Moreno rematch. Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. Moreno gonna try and lay and prey on him like Pantoja did. I doubt that. Yeah, me too. Moreno actually knows how to finish. Yeah, no, Moreno likes to scrap too. Like Moreno will utilize his wrestling to win a round or like after he gets cracked well. But usually he was Pantoja who tried to wrestle with Moreno more than Moreno in their fight. Then Moreno did try to fight fire with fire at one point, but I feel like he usually, even in the Figueiredo fight, elects to box. Again, Royval is good. I just don't think he's this boogeyman that people are like talking him up to be with his crazy finishing abilities and this and that. So it's because he's flailing out there half the time, which is why which again, it's hard to read. Don't get me wrong, but I think Moreno's fought guys just way better and will be able to get through him, like kind of like what he did with Kai Kara-France. Yeah, Moreno's more scrappy, definitely. Moreno's on another level at this point. A1 is on. Yes, and FCC in Peru is also on tonight. The main card for both of them start in 1 hour. Yeah, it's still a moving target if I'm going to get to it in an hour, guys. I know usually I stream when there's events on Thursday, and I really want to. But I have a whole Rise and predictions video that I have to edit for you guys that I already filmed. I also have to hit up the gym. My phone is ringing off the hook right now, so probably gonna just stick to editing here and then do get the stream set up for Friday fights in the morning. But that's it for the predictions video. Here's if I do decide to stream, I mean, you guys will see it. You guys will see it up. But if not, we will stream all day tomorrow, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Smash that like button if you haven't already. You all are amazing. I appreciate every single one of you for joining. We had a great crowd here today. Love to hear your guys' picks as well. Again, the degenerate parlay of the week, Hughes, Lacerda, Turcios, the safe parlay of the week, which our safe parlay of the week hit last week, ladies and gentlemen. Moreno, Dos Santos. You guys are all amazing. I appreciate every single one of you supporting this channel. Sorry we were a little bit late here today. I napped, slept through the alarm. It is what it is. We will be streaming all weekend, all Friday, all Saturday, all Sunday. Check the schedule. We are starting one Friday fights and we'll continue to stream throughout Saturday. KSW, PFL versus Bellator, the end of it, UFC, Ryzen, and more, ladies and gentlemen. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Comment which picks you like, which picks you don't like. Let me know your favorite picks or your picks at all, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to tune in this weekend for live streams. Don't forget to tune in Monday for the Rush City Fight Show. And we're dropping videos every single day on the channel here this week, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for joining. If we stream A1 or FFC or FCC or whatever it's called out of Peru, you'll see me go live in an hour. If not, you'll see me bright and early tomorrow for a little ASMR to start that shit. And then once the coffee starts brewing, once the roommates are up, we'll be hooting and hollering, watching some Muay Thai. Until the next stream, ladies and gentlemen, jam-packed weekend into Monday, into next week. Smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Yeah. In the fiercest battle